I didn't believe in curses until the night the rain started falling, only on my house. I told myself it was just another small-town rental. Old, yes. Cheap, definitely. But cursed? That was ridiculous. Still, something about the place in Millfield, Oregon felt wrong the moment I stepped out of my car. The house stood alone at the very end of a cracked asphalt road, backed up against a wall of towering pine trees that blocked most of the evening light. The forest looked dense and dark, like it was swallowing the property from behind. The landlord barely spoke when he handed me the keys. "Power cuts out sometimes," he muttered. "Cell signal's bad, too. If it rains heavy, stay inside." That last part stuck with me. The first few hours inside the house felt strangely quiet. No birds, no insects, not even the hum of distant traffic. Just silence so thick it pressed against my ears until I caught myself checking my phone to make sure I hadn't gone deaf. I unpacked a few boxes, made a frozen dinner, and sat on the couch, scrolling through my phone, trying to ignore the creeping sense that I wasn't alone. At 9:12 p.m., everything changed. I remember the exact time because my phone buzzed with a low battery warning just as the first drop hit the roof. Tap. Then another. Tap. Tap. I glanced toward the window, expecting to see rain streaking down the glass, but the street outside was completely dry. No puddles, no darkened pavement, no shimmering reflections from streetlights. Only my house was wet. The sound on the roof grew heavier, louder, more aggressive, like a downpour focused on a single point. I stood up slowly, my skin prickling. "That's not possible," I whispered to myself. I stepped onto the porch, barefoot, half expecting to feel cold rain on my skin. Nothing touched me. The air was dry, the porch boards were dry, the entire neighborhood was dry, but above my head, rain hammered my roof like a storm cloud had parked directly over my house. The sound didn't match normal rain either. It wasn't random or scattered. It came in slow, deliberate rhythms, almost like footsteps. That's when I heard the first one. Thump. Not a splash, not a drip, a heavy, wet step right above my bedroom. My stomach dropped. I backed up against the porch railing, staring at the roofline, my heart pounding in my ears. Then came another. Thump. Thump. Each step dragged slightly, like bare skin peeling off wet wood. My mouth went dry. "Nope," I whispered. "No, no way." I rushed back inside and locked the door, pressing my back against it like that could stop whatever was up there. The footsteps moved, not randomly. They paced, slow circles across my ceiling. Every step came with a soft, sickening squelch, as if something soaked and heavy was pressing down on my roof with each movement. I grabbed my phone, hands shaking, and dialed 911. No signal, of course. The lights flickered. Then the power cut out completely. The house fell into darkness except for the dim glow of my phone screen. That's when I heard it. My name. Not shouted, not spoken, whispered from directly above my head. "Ethan." The sound wasn't muffled like a voice through a ceiling. It was clear, intimate, close. My blood ran cold. I hadn't told anyone in this town my name yet. I stood frozen in the middle of the living room, staring at the ceiling like I expected it to cave in. The whisper came again. "Ethan, why did you come back?" My knees almost gave out. "Who's there?" I shouted, my voice cracking. Silence. Then the footsteps resumed. They moved from the center of the roof toward the edge, toward the front of the house, toward the porch, toward me. Water started dripping down from the ceiling, forming a small puddle on the carpet. Except it wasn't clear water. It was dark, almost black. The front door handle slowly turned. Not rattled, not forced, turned gently, like someone politely trying to open it. My back against it, I reached for the deadbolt. I just got my fingers around it when it stopped turning. The whisper came again, this time from the hallway, right behind me. Liar. I spun around. The hallway was empty, but wet footprints appeared on the wooden floor. One by one, slow, deliberate, they moved toward me. Each step made a soft, slapping sound. I ran to my bedroom and slammed the door shut just as something heavy hit the other side. The walls trembled. The rain above the house intensified, pounding so hard it sounded like the roof might collapse. I slid down against the door, clutching my phone, tears streaming down my face. My phone screen flickered. A new message appeared. Unknown number. You shouldn't have come back. My heart nearly stopped. I'd never been here before, I whispered. The whisper replied from inside my head. You left me in the water. The footsteps stopped. The rain stopped. The silence returned, thicker than before. Then, just when I thought it was over, I heard my own voice whisper my name from the ceiling. Ethan. The voice outside my window wasn't asking for help. It was asking me to come closer. I didn't sleep at all after that first night. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard the whisper again, my name stretched and soaked as if it were being spoken underwater. When the sun finally rose, pale and weak through heavy clouds, I felt no relief, just dread. The rain had stopped completely. The roof was dry, the porch was dry, the road was dry, like nothing had ever happened. I stepped outside cautiously, half expecting to see wet footprints burned into the porch boards. There was nothing. No puddles, no darkened pavement, no shimmering reflections from streetlights. Only my house was wet. That evening, the clouds rolled back in, thick, heavy, low enough to make the trees look like they were sinking into the sky. At 9:11 p.m., my phone vibrated. Low battery. At 9:12 p.m., the rain started. Right on time. Not outside, on my roof. The sound was louder than the night before, violent, angry, like something slamming buckets of water down again and again. The walls trembled with each impact. I stood frozen on my bed, staring at the ceiling, whispering to myself, "It's just rain, it's just rain." Then I heard something scratching, not above me, below my window. Skirk, skirk. Slow, deliberate, like fingernails being dragged across wet concrete. I stood up on shaking legs and walked toward the window. The curtain fluttered, even though there was no wind. "Hello?" I whispered. The scratching stopped. Then a voice spoke from outside my window. Soft, weak, female. "Please, help me." My breath caught in my throat. I pulled the curtain aside. A woman stood knee-deep in water that shouldn't have been there. The ground outside my house was completely dry everywhere else, but directly under my window, water pooled in a perfect circle around her legs, rippling gently like a slow whirlpool. Her hair clung to her face in wet black strands. Her dress was soaked, hanging heavy against her thin body. Her eyes were wide, too wide. They didn't blink. "Please," she whispered again. Every instinct screamed at me to run, but my body didn't listen. I knelt and cracked the window open just an inch. "Are you hurt?" I asked. Her lips trembled. "I fell," she said. "I can't get out. It's so cold." The rain above my house intensified, pounding so hard it rattled the glass. "I'll call someone," I said. "Just stay there." Her head tilted slowly, too slowly. "You won't come down?" she asked. Something in her tone felt wrong, flat, empty. "I can't. I'll get help." Her face tightened. "Come closer," she whispered. My hand moved to open the window wider. I don't know why. It felt like my muscles weren't my own. The moment the window slid up fully, her face changed. Her mouth stretched wider than humanly possible, splitting her cheeks like wet paper. Her eyes rolled back until only white showed. Her voice dropped into a deep, wet growl that vibrated the air. "You finally found me." The rain stopped instantly. The silence was absolute. No wind, no insects, no distant cars, just her breathing, wet, gurgling. She reached up and grabbed the window frame with fingers that bent the wrong way. "Ethan," she whispered. My heart slammed against my ribs. "I don't know you," I screamed. She smiled, and I swear to God, her teeth weren't teeth. They were jagged black shards. I stumbled backward and fell on the floor. When I looked back at the window, she was gone. The water was gone, the rain was gone. Only muddy handprints remained on the glass. I didn't stay in the house. I ran, barefoot, through the dark streets, through the silent town, to the...
The rain was back. Not gentle this time. It came down in sheets, soaking me instantly, plastering my clothes to my skin. The street was completely empty. No porch lights, no car headlights, no signs of life. Just rain and darkness. My phone buzzed again. I didn't want to look, but I did. Unknown number. You can't run from water. I stumbled and nearly fell as something splashed behind me. Heavy, fast, wet. I turned my head just long enough to see a tall, dark shape gliding through the rain behind me. Not running, not walking, gliding, like it was being carried forward by the water itself. I screamed and ran faster. The road sloped downward toward the storm drain at the end of my street, the same one I'd heard her voice from earlier. Water began pooling around my ankles as I ran, not from the rain, from nowhere. The rain wasn't just falling, it was following me. I reached the storm drain and skidded to a stop. The metal grate rattled. Something slammed against it from below. "Why won't you stay?" her voice echoed from inside the drain. "I don't know you," I screamed. "Leave me alone!" The water in the street started spinning, faster, faster, forming a dark whirlpool around my legs. Her face appeared in the center of it, distorted, swollen, eyes hollow and black. "You looked back," she whispered. "What?" I cried. "You weren't supposed to look back," she said. The rain intensified. The shape behind me moved closer. I felt something brush my ankle, cold, slimy. I broke free and ran again, slipping and falling on the soaked pavement. When I looked back, she was standing in the middle of the road, her body dripping, her hair floating like it was underwater, her mouth stretching into that impossible smile. "You can't change what you did," she said. "I don't remember doing anything," I sobbed. Her voice dropped into that deep, wet growl. "You will." I don't remember how I got back to my house. I just remember slamming the front door shut and barricading it with my couch. The rain stopped again. The silence returned. I slid down against the wall, shaking uncontrollably. My phone buzzed one last time. Unknown number. Everyone who disappeared got this message first. My blood ran cold. Me. What message? 3 dots appeared. Then the final message came through. Unknown number. You left me in the water. The lights flickered back on. The rain outside stopped completely. The house looked normal again. Dry floors, intact door, no footprints, like nothing had happened. But my phone still showed the messages, and I knew something worse than fear had settled into my chest. Guilt. Because deep down, a part of me felt like she was right. The sheriff told me the woman died 15 years ago, but her body was never found. I don't remember how I made it to the police station. One moment I was barricading my front door, shaking so hard I couldn't stand, and the next I was standing under a flickering streetlight outside the Millfield Sheriff's office, drenched, barefoot, and barely breathing. The rain had slowed to a weak drizzle again, like it was pretending nothing had happened. The glass doors of the station slid open with a tired mechanical groan. Inside, everything smelled like stale coffee and old paper. The sheriff was sitting behind the front desk, calmly filling out paperwork. He looked up and didn't look surprised at all. "You saw her, didn't you?" he said quietly. My legs almost gave out. You know about her?" I stammered. He stood up slowly and gestured for me to sit. "Tell me everything." So I did. The rain, the footsteps, the woman at my window, the messages, the footprints, the storm drain. The sheriff listened without interrupting, his face growing darker with every word. When he finished, he let out a long breath. "She's back early this year," he muttered. My stomach twisted. "What do you mean, back?" I asked. He walked to a metal filing cabinet in the corner of the room and pulled out a thick, dust-covered folder. The label on the front read, "Missing Persons 2009. He placed it on the desk in front of me. Her name was Emily Carter. My chest tightened for no reason I could explain. He flipped open the file and slid a photograph across the desk. It was her, the same woman from my window, same dark hair, same wide eyes, only alive, smiling. She was 22, the sheriff continued, college student, home for the summer, working late shifts at a diner on Highway 6. My mouth felt dry. She was driving home one night during a storm. Flash flood hit the road near Miller's Creek. A car swerved into her lane and hit her head on. He swallowed. The other driver fled the scene. My heart started pounding again. They found her car half submerged in the creek, door open, blood on the dashboard. No body. I shook my head. "No, that's not possible." He slid another page toward me. It was a police report. The name at the top made my vision blur. Driver, Ethan Walker. My name. My hands started shaking. "That's not me," I whispered. "I've never been here before. I don't remember any accident." The sheriff leaned forward. 15 years ago, he said softly, you were passing through this town, party weekend, bar on Route 9. You got behind the wheel drunk. My ears rang. You hit her car. You panicked. You ran. I stood up, dizzy. "That's not true," I shouted. "I would remember something like that." The sheriff's eyes filled with something that looked like pity. "Trauma makes people forget," he said. "So does guilt." I looked down at the report. The signature at the bottom was mine. My signature. My knees buckled and I collapsed into the chair. "I didn't mean to," I whispered. The sheriff's voice dropped. "She comes back every rainy season," he said, "for the ones who left her." A chill crawled up my spine. "Left her?" I asked. He nodded. "You're not the first one she's come for. The ones who disappeared over the years, hit and runs, negligent drivers, people who abandoned someone in the water." Thunder cracked outside, so loud it made the windows rattle. The lights flickered, once, twice. The smell of rain flooded the room. Water began seeping through the cracks under the station doors. My breath caught. "She's here," the sheriff whispered. I turned toward the front window and froze. I saw her in the reflection, standing behind me, right in the middle of the station, her dress dripping, her hair floating like it was underwater, her mouth stretching into that impossible smile. "You remembered," she whispered. I spun around. She was gone. The room was empty. Only wet footprints remained on the tile floor, leading straight toward me. "I didn't know it was you. I didn't mean to leave you there," I cried. The water on the floor began spreading, rising around my shoes. The sheriff backed away slowly. "She won't stop now," he said. "She never does once they remember." "What happens to them?" I asked. He hesitated. "They vanish," he said. No bodies, no signs, just like her. The lights flickered again. The front doors slammed shut, locked. The rain outside intensified, pounding the roof like fists. Her voice echoed through the station. "Why didn't you come back for me?" "I was scared," I screamed. "I panicked." The temperature dropped instantly. My breath turned to fog. The air grew heavy and wet. Her shape formed again near the holding cells, not solid, more like a shadow made of rain. "You left me to drown," she said. "I thought someone else would help you," I sobbed. Her face twisted, her mouth stretched wider than humanly possible. "You watched my car sink." The memory hit me, out of nowhere, like a knife through my skull. Headlights, rain, a woman screaming, water rushing into her car, me standing on the road, doing nothing. I collapsed to my knees. "I'm sorry," I whispered. The water in the station surged up to my calves. The sheriff shouted, "Ethan, you have to leave, now!" The doors rattled violently. Something banged against them from the outside. She appeared inches from my face. Cold water dripped on my nose. "Come back into the water with me," she whispered. The lights exploded into darkness. I felt something grab my ankle, ice cold. I screamed and kicked free. The sheriff grabbed my arm and dragged me toward the back exit. "Run!" he yelled. We burst through the rear door into the rain. Thunder split the sky. The station behind us vanished into a wall of water.